Hello everyone, my name is Douglas Nelson and I'm the head of PNMT Midwest Precision Neuromuscular Therapy. Thank you very much for your interest in our forward flexion norms study. In this little video, I'll walk you through the process by which we took forward flexion measurements in the subjects that we investigated. First, I'd like to clarify something called lumbopelvic rhythm. If you look at the picture of the person in forward flexion, what you see is that they have some motion in the pelvis and also some flexion in the lumbar spine and also some flexion in the thoracic spine. Here's the same person who's also forward flexing, except their lower back and their thoracic spine is essentially straight. Yet again, the same person, but now with massive amounts of flexion in the thoracic spine. Again, a very different condition. At this point, I want to make a little distinction between the research world and our clinical world, because I want to make the research clinically relevant. Our goal in doing this study was to give the therapist a guideline as to what a normal range of motion might be. Should we try to increase range? And if we do try to do that, do we have a way to measure that increase? Without that measurement, we don't really have a kind of benchmark that a therapist would need to measure improvement. Again, in these three videos, now you can see someone bending forward with a very straight back, in which case the measurement numbers are going to be very low. Someone bending forward with an exaggerated kyphotic curve in flexion, the number is going to be exceedingly high, neither one of which is good. And this is going to be a more normal presentation, with some flexion in the lumbar spine, some flexion in the thoracic spine. Now, in order to take the measurements, what you're going to do is find the spinous process of T1. Here I'm having the person bend forward to isolate T1 from C7. And then we'll take this cloth tape measure. Using the cloth tape measure, we'll measure from the spinous process of T1 to the base of the lumbar spine. And then what you're doing is you have a starting distance, a starting measurement, an ending measurement, and when you subtract the two, that's when you come up with the travel distance, the total travel distance. So again, spinous process T1 to the base of the lumbar spine, and again we're measuring in centimeters. And then we'll have the person flex forward. As they flex forward, you need to stand to the side, and it's very important that that lower hand does not move. You anchor it to the body so it does not get pulled up as they forward flex. So the tape measure slips through a pincer grasp in your hand. And whatever the starting distance is, then you look for the ending centimeter distance and subtract the two, and that is the total travel distance of forward flexion of the spine. Again, the point of our study is just looking to see what kind of norms might exist that we can use as a baseline in the clinic. Now, what's interesting about this, using the tape measure as a measurement, obviously if somebody's 4'11", their travel distance is going to be very different than somebody's whose height is 6'11", but the travel distance will still be relative to their height, which should give us a very good idea about what typical norms might be. Thank you very much for your interest in the Precision Neuromuscular Therapy Forward Flexion Norms research study, and we hope this DVD helps you understand the written materials that will accompany it. Again, thank you very much for your interest.